Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna, and today we have the talented Arkansas duo of Cliff and Susan. How are you both doing?
We're great. How are you? Thanks for having us.
Wonderful. It is a lovely Monday, as we were discussing before getting on here.
It is, and here in Arkansas, it's a little bit rainy and
a little bit
chilly and rainy. But tomorrow it could be summertime. You never know in Arkansas.
Well, that's what we say about Florida. Like, if it starts out cold in the morning, I'm like, it'll be summer by lunch,
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so I like to start off with the most difficult question ever.
All right.
Great.
Tell us, who are Cliff and Susan?
We are a married country music duo based in Little Rock, Arkansas. We met in 2016 on stage at Willie D's. It's a piano bar here in Little Rock. And we were performing together. We immediately began working together. And a year later, we had eloped in Vegas. So we've been doing shows for 7 years, married for 6 years. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about our music, but we really just enjoy performing 200 shows a year. That's a lot. And we just love, we travel a lot. We do a lot of shows here in Arkansas as well. And it's just been a lot of fun to do what we love with the person we love.
Absolutely. Love that. So, in the mix of everything that you are, tell me a little bit about, obviously, your backgrounds. Now, I know you came together, a few years ago, so to speak, 7 years ago. So what were you all both doing separately? And then how did it merge together?
So I was actually working at a pharmacy as a pharmacy tech. I'd had several jobs up until then, but I was still playing on the weekends at Willie D's doing piano club, and she was actually traveling at the time. So I had never met her. I had heard about her, but we never got to meet each other. And so I had happened to be playing there one weekend at the club, and we actually met at a rehearsal the night before the show.
And I was performing. I've been doing full-time music for 20 years, and we had a mutual friend, the entertainment director at the club, had told us about each other. And I had a show at the casino in Hot Springs, an hour away, and I was doing this show, me and a drummer who was also named, his name was Cliff. But so when I met him, I was like, okay, I want to work with you. Sorry, our dogs are, of course, are going to say hello. We've got little Gibby, Booker, and Charlie at our feet right now.
We love animals.
They're always going to find a way to make a noise and integrate into the Zoom. But so, yeah, I was performing, and I went ahead and we started working together immediately. And then, like I said, a year later, we had eloped, and love happened pretty quickly for us. So that's how we met.
That's so awesome. It is great to be able to do something with the person you love like that. It's just, I think that's absolutely awesome.
And, I would say as a musician, it's a different lifestyle. And I had come to a point in my life where I was like, I'm just not going to find the perfect fit to still do what I love and find a life partner. And then I met Cliff, and it's just been really cool to have someone I met in Arkansas, because we're both very all about family and just love Arkansas, to find someone who fits my lifestyle and all of that. And likewise, we love our family. We love to travel together, but so we're based here in Arkansas and still travel and do music full time. So
that's awesome. So I know we recently had the release of your debut album, Fiddles and Keys. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. What was it like putting that all together? Did that all come together kind of at once? And I ask this because obviously people will sit on music sometimes for 5, 6, 10 years even sometimes, So how did it come together?
Well, that was a little bit how it happened. It was a long time coming, I think, for us. We really wanted to find ourselves as a duo and what we really wanted to sound like. And, all of our songs, we wanted to sound cohesive. And so I'd written a bunch of songs, and she had some songs herself. And we had some that we released as singles here and there, but really this last October, we felt the time was right, that we had enough songs that really felt like an actual substantial album. So we really were excited to put that out, and it's gone really well on the release.
I'll say on the release of our music, I had two songs that I had recorded in Nashville right before I met Cliff. So we brought those two songs over to the album. But it's a 12 song album, and 10 of those songs Cliff produced and played almost all of the instruments. Of course, I did keys, and he brought in a couple of drummers on 2 or 3 of the tracks. But other than that, here in our studio in Arkansas, he does drums, bass, fiddle, guitar, dobro, banjo, mandolin, whatever we need and want on the album. He arranges it, produces it, plays the songs. It's just really magical to watch him, and he's grown so much. In fact, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about some of the nominations that we've had come up this just recently for the Arkansas Country Music Awards. He's up for Producer of the Year and Collaboration of the Year with another artist that he produced. So really excited about the production level that we're putting out here in our own studio, and allows us to be creative when we want. So the album really, it took 7 years to get to where we felt that the songs that we were writing and producing matched the brand and what you hear at our live show. That was real important to us, that the songs you hear, it doesn't sound drastically different when you come and hear our duo show or our trio or our full band. Of course, it is a little different, but we are able to cover our music, and we're very high energy, rocking country in your face, get people to dance, sing along. So a lot of that'll be heard on the album. Of course, there's a few ballads and tug on a heartstring here and there, but we were just really proud, and we wanted to wait. That's why it took us a while. Like you said, people sometimes wait, and I don't know, there's reasons for that, but for us, we just wanted to define ourselves and the branding to feel and fit as an artist, as a duo.
Well, it is a great album. I will tell you that much. I listened to the whole thing and I thought it was amazing. And yeah. So speaking of those nominations, there are 4 awards, right, for Arkansas country music. Tell us about each one of those and what that means to you.
Sure. So the Arkansas Country Music Awards are in their 7th annual award show, and it's just been an amazing way for Arkansas to celebrate country music and talent in the state. And I mean, you can think of like Johnny Cash, Levon Helm, Glenn Campbell. I could name a ton of artists that come from Arkansas. So we've celebrated them over the years, but then it's more about the independent artistry and some of those rooted artists that we come together every June. And this year, we've been nominated in years past, but this one's a big one for us because we had just released our album, and we had some, awesome things happen with that. We charted top 40 country albums charts on Apple when we released it. So we were excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we got a national TV debut last year, the Huckabee Show on TBN. He had us on to play fiddle and keys, the title track. And so coming off of that and then into this year, we just found out that we are up for Vocal Duo Group of the Year as a nomination. There's top 5. So we're in the top 5 nominees. Then our album is up for Album of the Year. And then, like I said, Cliff's up for Producer of the Year, and then Collaboration of the Year for a song called what's it called?
Good Clean Living.
Good Clean Living. That's right. I forgot. There's 3 artists that collaborated in the studio, and Cliff produced that project. So 4 nominations, but I can't say enough about all of the artists here in Arkansas that, we come together, celebrate each other, and we meet. And that ended up, tell her about the collaboration with Erin Enderlin.
So after the first year, I had met with Erin Enderlin. She's an incredible Arkansas local musician, but also lives in Nashville. Yeah, she's written on many albums and many projects, and she had Jamie Johnson was her producer on her first album, and even Chris Stapleton sang backup on her album. It's crazy.
She has cuts by Alan Jackson, Reba, Luke Bryan. One of the songs we're going to do with her is don't get last call.
Oh yeah, is it Leanne Ryan?
Leanne Womack.
Leanne Womack.
Yeah,
that's right.
But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, we've got a collaboration with her coming up, and I met her, and I was able to play fiddle with her the second or third year, and that was the start of a really great relationship that we've had. And now this past year, we all 3 played together with Susan on keys and me on fiddle
at the award show. Yeah,
and we're recording a version of Last Call, the one that we played at the award ceremony there. And so we're really excited about that, as well as a couple others that we're going to do with her.
Yeah, so some cool collaborations that wouldn't have happened but until, we meet at the award show.
It's definitely all the people that we've met along the way, and I think that's probably one of the best parts of the Arkansas Country Music Awards is just the networking that you get to do with all of these artists that you really never would have met otherwise. I mean,
you hear about each other.
You finally get into the same room with each other because as artists, we'd love to go see another artist on Friday, Saturday, but we're always playing. And it's like we never get to cross paths. And that's finally happening with so many artists that have never met each other and gotten to collaborate.
Absolutely. And, it's funny that, you mentioned I love Erin. She's such a sweetheart. And we were talking about during COVID, and I think she's one of the people we were talking about how creating those live touches with your audiences and stuff, and just doing live events on a weekly basis. There are a couple other artists that did that regularly. That just created such a bond and a whole new audience, basically, of people going, "Oh, well, I didn't know this person existed, but because I was on Facebook at home and couldn't go to work or whatever, and I caught someone's performance, so now I'm a huge fan of theirs." But yeah, it's amazing how, first of all, you don't get to meet those other artists, right? It's very unique in that way because you are playing all the time and getting. But it's so nice to see that when you finally do get to collaborate, the amazing stuff that comes out of it. So as a fan of music, I love it. So
yeah, and on that note, those Facebook Lives that we did during COVID playing music, that was really the catalyst for us being able to get to national TV because that built the relationship between the Huckabee show. We had no idea he was watching or anything.
It was crazy.
So,
he knew who we were, and it was like really, really cool. Yeah.
You never know who's watching out there on those Facebook Lives.
I'm fascinated by the virtual space, and I know we're all back to the new normal, whatever we call it now after, because we were all really figuring it out online during the pandemic, which laid the groundwork for what I know is going to be really interesting space for more virtual shows. And we're going to prioritize that for us. We have a fan group, a private fan group on Facebook where we do a lot of behind the scenes. We're going to do some more live virtual shows, but I know as the metaverse and all of that continues to happen, I'm really interested to see, and I know it's going to happen really quickly, some collaborations online in the metaverse. And that just gets me excited because I geek out to AI and all that stuff. So I expect that to kind of have a new life about it as soon as we all end up in that space.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be a great thing that, absolutely. I mean, I can't agree more because as someone whose full-time job is in analytics and stuff, the AI has been a big thing. And absolutely. I mean, to be able to collaborate better across, interfaces, if you will. I mean, Zoom's been okay, right? But real-time audio sometimes has been hard, right? Like if you had band members playing in different areas. But yeah, it would be great to see when they have the better platforms and things, even for collaborations, concerts. Ashley McBryde had done a concert last year, was it? I think it was last year, where she had sold tickets online because the international artist was asking her, like, we can't get to Tennessee. Can you do something? So they decided to do it virtually. And it was really cool that they did that. Because even I, in Florida, being in Florida, I wasn't able to get to Tennessee at the time. And it's great to be able to do that because we can get to see our artists that we love, and we don't mind paying the $20 tickets online or whatever because it's simple, it's easy, it's So
I watched Lainey Wilson's show online. I bought I think it was Veeps, I believe is the name of the platform, and they had where you could go and watch. Of course, that was just like pay-per-view and like a rehash of it, but like the online space, you can do a lot of online streaming now. The collaboration portion where the sound matching up, that's what I'm interested to see have happen. And then I don't know if we have our Oculus laying around, but once we actually do the VR piece of it where you can walk up and talk to the artist or request, like we do a lot of piano bar type shows, when you can sit down and like be intimate with the artist right there, that to me, and your audience is the world, then that's so cool to me. Like then you're not limited geographically to who can show up. It's like if you've got the device and you log in and you go, he was walking around in the metaverse the other night as me. It was funny because he was logged in as me and he walked around. I was like, well, I hope nobody thought you were like, because his avatar was me.
I didn't say anything, so it didn't sound weird with.
But he heard people's conversations, but he talked about how there was like a venue where you could walk up and pay a cover charge to go in the venue. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're already there. It's
crazy. It said they had entertainment, but I didn't know what it meant because it cost 100 metabucks.
I was like, I don't know what kind of venue you were trying to go to, but I'm glad we didn't go in that one.
I don't have
It was not. It may not have been PG rated. Just saying.
That's what I think
he was.
I'm glad we threw it out of there as me anyway.
All right. So I'm going to kind of steer just a little bit differently.
Sure.
And tell me, who are some of your sheroes and heroes in the music industry?
For me, right now, Lainey Wilson. I love her work ethic and her roots. She was raised right. She's been at it for a long time. Talks about laying the brick by brick, laying the foundation, and she's built a team. And so the fruits of her labor are really starting to shine in the last 12 months. And so I've gone back and watched, and not being in Nashville, being in Little Rock and being in Arkansas, we can be a small fish in a big pond. When you go to Nashville, there's a lot more, and we actually are headed to Nashville in a month, and we're going to be doing some
big fish in a small pond.
big fish in a small fish in a big pond. Arkansas is a small pond. We can be a big fish. Point is when you go to Nashville, and we do have a lot of friends in Nashville, and I did a couple of projects there. But to see an artist who did the Nashville thing, worked her butt off, and is now seeing, and I went back and I watched all of that, and I always love to learn and watch and learn from someone who did it and like kind of has the blueprint of what works. And so I just really love what she's done. I love her voice. I love her songs. I just love everything. I love her bell bottoms. I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons we all love Lainey Wilson. She's gotten a lot of awards lately. But specifically to other artists that like kind of inspire me, I love Bonnie Raitt, Susan Tedeschi, that vocal bluesy thing. I kind of, have a little bit of that in my voice. And then I love Jerry Lee Lewis type playing. So any kind of boogie woogie, Leon Russell, Jerry Lee Lewis, piano players, that kind of thing. I would say those would be the main ones. Of course, Dolly and Willie and some of those come to mind, but those are for me. How about you?
I'd definitely say Willie Nelson, Lucas Nelson, both of them are an incredible writing inspiration, but I play so many instruments that I have so many influences on my music, in fiddle players, Mark O'Connor and Tim Crouch, or in guitar players, Vince Gill and Brad Paisley, and Guthrie Trapp is an incredible Nashville guitarist. Brent Mason, there's a bunch in the guitar world, and I could go through and name all the instrumental influences. But as far as writing, of course, I love Chris Stapleton. He's got a great writing style and an incredible voice, of course. But I'd say my depth goes pretty deep as far as my influences.
He grew up. His dad was an '80s rock and roll guitarist, so he definitely has that.
But then I also grew up with my grandparents listening to old bluegrass and
taking you
Hank
to the
Williams
square.
Sr. and stuff that I have no business knowing at my age of 12 when I started playing fiddle. And so, yeah.
Well, that is awesome to have such a eclectic mix, because I think that broadens as any kind of musician. Now I know I don't play anything, but I can say from the people I've talked with and stuff that it just broadens your whole perspective of music. People, I hate to say that we put everyone in boxes, but sometimes we don't need to have those boxes. I mean, we can just say it's good music, right? If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. But I like to be non-stereotypical.
I love what you said about that. And it also I have a math degree, and you mentioned the analytic side of your job. And like, I get that way, and I get sometimes too stuck in like, we got to be this branded. This is what we are. And like, I get too rigid in a box, and he's let's open the box and let's let the music and artistry flow. And it's a good marriage with that. No pun intended.
I could say, definitely. You need those like opposites to balance you out, right? Isn't that?
Absolutely.
We're certainly opposite.
Yeah.
She's a morning person. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Just one of many.
I'm a morning person. He's a late night person. I'm more A type. But I say, to work together and be married and just have this, we spend 24/7 together. It has to be yin and yang. And, it really works for us that way.
Absolutely. I can agree. So I'm the same. My spouse and I are opposites. So yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. So would you like to do our 13 crazy questions?
Yes, of course. Let's go.
Okay, wonderful. I promise we won't get arrested yet.
Okay.
Tell me, do you have any guilty pleasure music?
Well, if you consider Nickelback a guilty pleasure, then totally. I mean, there's that whole meme of Nickelback, right? That's like, everybody hates Nickelback. I love Nickelback.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I mean, Nora Jones, I mean, a lot of like old 90s uh, pop and country. I mean, the female artist side, I think they have some of the coolest arrangements in a lot of their songs. And I'm being a producer, I'm very big on arrangement and everything. And so like old 90s female country was like wild on the arrangements. So I guess maybe that would be mine. I don't know what would be yours.
I don't know. I'd have to go back to my teenage years where I was cruising the strip, listening to Tori Amos, Alanis Morissette, and the Dixie Chicks. I mean, those would be like, if I were like, give me guilty pleasure, something I wouldn't normally listen to right now. Because music, when we do cover shows, and it's the name of the game is to know and take requests and like know all the songs. So music sometimes becomes work and like having to know new songs and all that. If I really just wanted to listen to music that I love, like right now, it's Texas country.
And Texas country reminds me of the 90s so much, and some of their just
definitely.
Yeah. Today, my favorite song is
mine is what's it, County Line?
Russell
County Line, 49 Winchester. I love that song. Love it. And then I also like back to Lainey. She's releasing one this week. It's called Country's Cool Again. And she's released like just the verse chorus, but I'm already loving it. So that would be one I'm excited to hear this week. But yeah, this song called Russell County Line. I don't know. I could it's just a song you can listen on repeat for me. I don't know. 49 Winchester.
It's a great song. Great band. Another that Texas country, Oklahoma, red dirt kind of feel. I don't know actually where they're originally from, but
they're from Kentucky.
Really? Okay.
Or no, Virginia. No, because Virginia, Russell County Line is Virginia. They're the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So not red dirt at all.
No,
but they've been touring with a lot of red dirt artists.
Yeah.
For me, man, Higher by Chris Stapleton. Also, right now, like specific to this last week is Toby Keith's "Don't Let the Old Man In." That's a beautiful song, and just knowing the impact and where that was coming from for him, and then now with his passing, is definitely very impactful song.
The story behind that is that he had a conversation with Clint Eastwood, and something Clint Eastwood said to him was about "Don't let the old man in" reference to getting old. And then with Toby's passing, I mean his performance of it was one of the last times he performed, and just it's beautiful. And now after he's passed, it's such a heartstring and tearjerker. But
talking about song. Another influence, Toby's a great influence too.
Absolutely. If there was a song that could play every time you entered a room, what would it be?
That's hard. I mean, I go back to my basketball days. Dun 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 dun.
The Rocky?
Eye of the Tiger. I don't know. It's a hard question. That's the first thing that came to mind.
It is a hard question.
I would, if I had time. Let me think. You got one? I could maybe come up with a better idea.
I have no idea.
Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, I guess that would have to be it. Everybody thinks when they see me.
Yeah, because when they hear the fiddle, that's the next thing that, can you play Devil? Can you play Charlie Daniels? And yes, we played Charlie Daniels. At some point, we will exceed how many times he played it in his lifetime because we play it every show. And I could come up with a better one, surely.
I'm sure you
Great
can.
Balls of Fire. That would be mine.
There you go.
There we go. Something with piano rocking.
Oh, if you ever wrote a book, what genre would it be?
Well, for you, I think educational.
I am writing a book actually right now. So it's we haven't talked about our Entertainers Academy, which I would love to share, but we do a lot of coaching and training of other musicians, and I've always just enjoyed being able to turn around and teach what I've learned. Somebody helped me once, so I'd love to kind of give back. And so it would be I guess just educational would be my book. At some point I'd love to do some kind of like stories from the road that's not so much educational, just more entertainment, because there's a lot of fun stories over 20 years. I
used to write a lot of short stories when I was growing up, and in school I had a creative writing class, and mine would definitely be science fiction. I was really into science fiction short stories.
Awesome. I love the educational perspective on yours. And I was laughing because when you said about from the road, I have a good friend that she had told a story, and she's a drummer, and about they were at a house party. She's like, I was young. She goes, I was just playing, and this guy tried to hit on me. He tried to kiss me, and she's like, I just nailed it, like hit him with it. Like as I was going, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I could just imagine the spitfire of her, like her doing that. I'm like, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, those stories that no one hears about or
Oh, and from the perspective of a performer, I think it'd be really funny to hear because I have plenty of stories that I've told in mixed company. You know, like you don't know some things you don't really share, but we've had some really interesting things happen with alcohol being the catalyst of the big fun crazy party that you're having at a piano bar where there's a lot of just fun happening and somebody gets up on the piano and does something crazy and shows something they shouldn't. You know. Lots of stories. I don't know, I guess. But there's also a lot of just really good, like very heartwarming things that have happened because of music. So the connection through people. And I think just from a performer standpoint,
Yeah,
it'd be cool to like collect all the stories and do
we had
that.
several engagements happen on the stages of where we played. So that's a cool thing that happens every once in a while.
Absolutely. Definitely. Tell me something on your bucket list.
Grammy. We want a Grammy.
For sure.
Who doesn't want a Grammy?
Performing at the Grand Ole Opry and getting a Grammy.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, you got to have a goal, right? And as musicians, we for sure definitely want to set our sights on those two big achievements. Bucket list, book, the book thing was kind of something for me. And just, I think this is kind of just a broad answer, but it's kind of more just like what defines success, and it's doing what you love with the person you love in this case, and being able to grow in that and be able to make enough money to invest in yourself to keep growing in your artistry, and then letting that happen organically where you're supposed to be in life. And so that is not really the answer to the bucket list thing. I could come up. I mean, I've flown planes. I have a pilot's license. Getting Cliff to go skydiving with me. He will never do it.
Won't be on. It won't ever be able to check that off her bucket list. Yeah.
What about hot air balloon? Would you go on a hot air balloon? That would be cool, maybe.
No.
No.
But you know what? You know what? When I die, you can just chuck me out of a plane, and there you go.
Terrible.
Check that right.
Goodness.
Okay, well, if that ever happens, you just have to call me, and I just want to be a part of this. Film or non-film, I don't even care. I just want to be part of that. That's just great people.
On camera, that's his dying wish. We got to do it now. Well, I don't know what we're going to do now.
Yes. That's one thing I have to admit. That's the one thing that I love what I do here is because not only do I get to promote, but I get to meet, people. The people behind the artist, if you will, because we just, I mean, yeah. I've known so many great artists in my lifetime and things like that, but it's just so nice to get to meet everyone and who they really are. It's just awesome.
We're all used to Zoom now after the pandemic. We're all like, it's not weird anymore. It's just like, hey, we're hanging out, and which that's also how we train on our Entertainers Academy. We have we teach, do all of our stuff virtually. And it's great to be able to have that resource now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me what, what? I'm sorry.
How far are we in on these 13 crazy questions?
We're almost done. We're halfway.
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
Okay. So, I'm having fun. I just wondered.
Okay. Yeah. We're about halfway. So number 7 is tell me the last thing you read. A book, an email. Yeah. Doesn't have to be too specific.
I mean,
unless you have a really good book.
I have books like they're all marketing books or music educational books. So I can't think they're not entertainment books really. They're more just about education. And then I read. I consume my news mainly through YouTube. So I do a lot of audio, and I don't really watch the YouTube. I just listen to it. So audiobook. The one that I was working when I was at the gym the other day, I'll pull it up because I can't remember. I think it was Atomic Habits, Work Smarter. Hang on, I'll tell you what it is. I've got the Audible right here.
I'll tell you, those that you just mentioned at the beginning, those titles are great books.
Smarter, Not Harder, Dave Asprey. And it is a great book with talks about the latest AI and what we're able to do with technology, with our everything from education to biohacking and all of that. So that's something that I enjoy.
And polar opposite, the latest thing I read was a manual on a looper pedal.
I love it though.
Both educational.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's,
Not like we're reading horror stories or anything.
yeah, it could be some Stephen King thrown in there somewhere, but
Stephen King. I used to go to. I stopped now because she was freaked out by it. But crime, real crime stuff.
Yeah.
Going to or just horror
I don't
things.
mind it.
There's this guy John Ballin. That his name is Mr. Ballin, and he's a great storyteller. He does all these horror stories and everything. And I love going to sleep to that. But she doesn't.
But
she's like,
hard drive. I'm laying there and it's getting into my dream, and I'm waking up with these crazy dreams with all this stuff that my brain is hearing.
Those are the most
like,
fun dreams to me.
I do not need
I don't
that.
want boring dreams.
Well,
I want to run away from a clown with a chainsaw.
I like to wake up to new marketing tricks. I'd rather hear that than think I'm dying or something.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get two different answers to this next question. Tell me, what is your game plan for the zombie apocalypse?
Okay,
well, we do have one. We just haven't gotten all the stuff for it. I did kind of freak out when all this AI stuff started happening, and then we watched that movie, The End of the World or whatever.
I can't. Yeah, leave the world behind.
Leave the world behind, and I was like, oh my God, we got to get ready. And so I started shopping about like water and food and generators, and I don't know. I don't know what that plan is. We don't. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. My plan is
curl up in a corner and
have a lot of gasoline and a lot of jugs of water. I've got plenty of ammunition, and means to defend ourselves, I guess. But I haven't thought past that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We do live in Arkansas.
It's a good start.
A lot of land and family and resources. So I think we're
definitely need to have enough contacts.
Yeah.
If I lose a contact during the zombie apocalypse, I'm done.
Yeah.
I need to have plenty of refills.
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to get the charger. You answer the next question if that's okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Come right back.
Okay, sure. The next question is simple. It's who would play you in a movie about your life? Who would you want to play you, I should say. Yeah.
It would have to be some guy with a beard. So I guess probably Liam Hemsworth, I guess, probably, because him and I look exactly alike. So, or what's the other guy? Chris Hemsworth. Either one of them, I guess. Or maybe it would be Chris Pratt at this point. He's probably a little bit funnier, and he doesn't have an Australian accent or whatever. So, I'd say that'll be my final answer. Chris Pratt. That'll be mine. So, who's going to play you in a biographical movie? Is that what it was?
Who's the girl?
Movie about
who's the girl that played in A Sex in the City, Charlotte? I get that. When I'm a little bit more lean, 20 pounds less, people give me that I look like her. We look like each other. So I don't know.
I don't know, someone like I don't know, Mila Kunis might be a good one for you. The dark hair, kind of wavy hair. I don't know.
All great choices.
It's hard to think for me. I haven't thought of that.
It is, isn't it? So tell me, if I were to call you both and say, hey, Cliff, hey, Susan, I have a dead body. Do you know a good hiding place?
Yeah, I know several. Not that I've ever thought about it. I'm just saying I know several.
Yeah, there's an old junkyard around here. Maybe. Where would you go?
Well, as teenage boys, you explore places a lot, and I feel like inevitably, you just exploring places that you shouldn't. You come across just
dead bodies.
No, luckily, just very, very deep holes that you never knew existed, and you're like, you just look at it and you're like, yeah, I bet there's probably something down there that you shouldn't be down there.
Yeah, the Bayroid mines in Magnet Cove, where I grew up in between Malvern and Hot Springs here in Arkansas, and we had these Bayroid mines, and they were like literal mining shafts in this huge, like, I don't know how deep the water was. They call it the blue hole, and that'd probably be a good place out there.
There's also Hot Springs has a lot of natural springs that are too hot for you to get in because they will boil your skin off. So
body.
You can just chug it in there and get rid of it.
Boil it up. Just give it.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay.
This went real.
I might have to just call Cliff then on this. I believe we'll just let, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never, I guess it's a good thing I've never thought of that.
I don't know. Are police watching this?
No, they are not.
No, we're
And we
not
haven't
going-
killed. We haven't killed. There's no body, so there's nothing to hide. Just FYI. Yeah.
Just helping anybody else out that might need a tip for
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah. Prime tips of the day. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Almost done. Tell me, worst pizza topping.
Anchovy.
I don't know. I've never tried anchovy, so I couldn't say that that's the worst.
I have. It's too
it's like
salty.
I'd say a hair. It's
Dead
not
body.
supposed to be
A
there.
dead body.
No.
Dead bodies.
Honestly, I am not a picky eater at all. I like everything. But I will say, if I order a supreme pizza, I just don't get it with bell peppers. I just don't like bell peppers on pizza a lot. So probably I don't. It's not that I don't like it in general, but
not necessarily a fun fact, but a fact about Cliff is that he had alpha gal, which was an allergy to mammal meat, and when I first met him, he couldn't have mammal meat, which I thought was just terrible. I mean, can you imagine no bacon, no anything with 4 legs? So he could eat fish and chicken, but now he's gotten to where he can eat it now, so there wouldn't be any dietary restrictions now.
So bell pepper would be mine. So bell pepper and anchovy.
Yeah.
So as long as we don't get a pizza with those two things,
then we're good.
We'll be good.
Okay, perfect. So I'm pretty sure that you would never jump out of an airplane since you just announced that, except for after you're dead. But is there anything else? Tell me something else you might never do.
Never do.
Never do.
Never do. I do not want to go anywhere where I get motion sickness. I get sick on like boats, which I hate because we were in the Caribbean every November and we've had so many friends invite us out on their sailboats. And I could think about getting on a sailboat and get motion sickness. And so I have to take medicine if I'm going to do it. And that kind of bums it out. It's not necessarily ideal. So probably anything that like rides at the fair and stuff like that would make me sick. I don't know. I just, there would be no fun in that. And that's the worst feeling is being sick. So
I'd say anything with a confined space.
Ooh, yeah.
Like I'm not going to go in a submarine. That didn't turn out too great recently for some people. And I would not go like, I love exploring caves. I would never go like extreme caving, like getting into tight spaces. Not for me. I had a bad experience as a child where my older sister stuffed me in some place that I couldn't get out.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I think there's a lot. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I can't remember. I think it was like a toy box.
Oh God.
And she didn't know that it locked. She like closed it and she didn't know the toy box like latched. And so I got stuck in there for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, that's some trauma. There's some trauma going on there.
Yeah. Thank your sister for the trauma.
I'd never heard that. So now I learned something new.
I haven't thought about it in 20-something years.
This is a therapy session now.
Yeah,
it is. So we will walk through the trauma, not try to relive it, just not. Oh, I'm probably the wrong person to walk through trauma with you. No.
Have you heard of that therapy where you go left and right with your eyes and you talk about the trauma? Have you heard of that stuff?
No, it sounds very interesting.
OMR, DSL, DSL.
I've never heard of that.
There is this thing where your body, like, because this therapist discovered it. She was watching a tennis match or something going back and forth and discovered this brain, your animalistic brain will activate a panic center or some kind of center by going back, rapid eye movement back and forth. And so these therapists will work with people and relive and bring up these things, trauma from your past, and remap those brain paths during those exercises. And it's supposed to heal you. So.
Okay.
Sorry.
That sounds awesome. I love random trivia.
Yeah. Sorry, you're getting what you bargained for here.
Yeah. So are there any words of wisdom that you live by?
2 things. Kind of a motto for me is learn, grow, share, and repeat. So just rinse and repeat that just learn something new, grow through it, share, turn around, share it with someone, and then repeat that process. And the other thing recently is that I don't know how to articulate this completely, but there's probably a better way to say it. But something like it takes getting uncomfortable and being uncomfortable to grow. and like to get to the next level. So if you just know that it's uncomfortable, then you embrace that as a process to get to where you're wanting to go. And I think that can be applied. I mean, whether it's going on a diet or trying to run a marathon or learning a new anything or getting used to being on social media and you feel awkward and you're like, I don't want to put myself out there. You got to do it to get through it to then grow. And that to me is just a good sentiment that's been kind of front of mind lately.
I'd say me as a sound engineer, there is a motto that can be just translated to your everyday life, and it's translated. I mean, it's condensed to CISO, SISO, but because this might be a family audience, I'm just going to change it to CICO, crap in, crap out. And so I think that can be applied to many things in your life. If you do it with a crappy attitude, or if you do a crap job, I mean,
or you
there's a lot.
Record,
there's a lot it could be.
You record subpar going in. You can't.
As a mix engineer, that's the whole motto of crap in, crap out. If it doesn't sound good from the source, it's not going to sound good at the end. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a good motto. I think we could, maybe that needs to be the topic of our book.
That would be a good topic. I mean, that's, music or not anything. Like I work with data and I say the same thing. Sometimes we have systems and I'm like, well, system 1 doesn't match system 2. So if we put those systems together, we still have 2 sources of junk. And I always use junk in, junk out for the,
Hey, there's 3 ways: junk in, junk out, and the other one we won't say, and then crap in and crap out. I like it.
Yeah. At least 3. So, okay. So the rest of 2024 coming up here now. I know we have the Academy. So you want to tell me a little bit more about the Academy and maybe the plans for 2024 for that?
Yeah. So if anyone has checked us out online or has, seen our career and come to a show, most of you would see that we really like our show is like the big flagship product, like doing a live show. It's how we make our living. It's what really drives a lot of our artistry. And so and that knowing that that's a great business model for musicians is to have that live show, because it's hard to make a living off of your own music when you're getting started. The business model is totally different with streaming and all of that. So we have the Entertainers Academy, where we teach. The main course is how to put on a great live show. There's also how to book it and how to market yourself. And it's a comprehensive 12-module program. If you go to entertainersacademy.com, you can learn more. So in 2024, we are going to continue to do every 4 to 6 weeks. We do what we call a 5-day gig amplifier challenge. And it's a free way for musicians to join in. And we do an hour from a Monday to a Friday, an hour each day. And we lift up the hood on showing everyone kind of what the business model looks like for us and how we run our careers. And then we go into how to identify paying opportunities, what to charge, what to put together so that you can pitch yourself for those opportunities. And then we talk about the show itself, which is kind of more like just a little inkling into what we really teach in the big academy, which is the show. And that's everything from what songs we choose when, how to be an MC, how to be a DJ, what to say to the crowd, how to, stage presence, all of those things is something we teach. And the final day is talking about equipment needs and apps and everything for your show. So I know that was a long way to answer, but also I wanted to kind of like tell people about the Entertainers Academy, because we put a lot of time and energy into it for 2 years now. And we are now where we've got over 100 members in our online classroom portal. And we are welcoming in new people. And it's a great way for free to show up and do some stuff, do some work and get to the next level. And at least, even if you're a beginner, it will literally shine the light on the blueprint, the path that you can figure out for the music industry. And then those who've been doing it just as long as I have will learn a few new tricks. We use AI to write bios, and we use some lead generation platforms that are very current today's market that helps us book shows. And so that's really near and dear to our heart and central to our business this year. So we're really pushing hard to grow our academy, and writing a book around every module in the academy is going to have a chapter in my book. So that's kind of the behind the scenes on that. And so that's very synergistic for me. And beyond the academy, we're going to release more music. We had that 12-song album that we released, got a good depth of catalog now, a lot of momentum, and we've defined, kind of claimed our stamp in this is what we are as an artist. So we've got everything kind of as a good catalog with the album and the discography that we released. So our plan this year is to do every 4 to 6 weeks a new single. So right now we're recording more music right here in the studio. If we feel creative at 2 a.m., we'll come in here and fire it up and record or write. And that's just really awesome. We don't have to drive to Nashville to wait to get with the producer. We can do it here, which is really cool. I think that's a pro of being our own. Having when I married my producer here, and arranger and multi-instrumentalist, and keeps me sane. My therapist, he's everything. So that's the plan for this year, is just to continue to release more music, do more shows. We hope to play the Opry one day. We hope to open for more big acts. We've opened for ZZ Top. That was probably the biggest artist we've opened for in the past couple of years. And so pitching ourselves to those opportunities are kind of what we're planning and doing this year.
Wonderful. Awesome. So I'm going to ask the question now because, Cliff is kind of quiet over there. Productions. Any new productions? No. It's fine. It's fine. I just thought we'd let him talk a little, just so he knows we still love him. I'm sorry, what?
I said she's an Energizer bunny.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, shut up. I need to learn to shut up.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. That's exactly what you do on interviews. You talk. That's
right.
Yeah. Love it. So back to the productions. Any new productions coming up? Obviously, other than the songs releasing, anything exciting for you in that realm?
Absolutely. So I've been working on the second volume of Freedom Sings Arkansas, and they just put out the first volume, and that's where a writer gets together with a veteran, and the veteran tells their story and experience of war and their time in action, or even just whatever happened in their life. And it's a very good therapy for them. They've had many veterans tell them that they've actually tried therapy and different ways, but there's nothing that's ever really got them to talk about it like putting it to a song and putting it behind music, and it's just a different outlet for them. So I've had the pleasure and honor of working on the album for them. So basically, I arrange everything. They'll send me a demo of vocal and a guitar most of the time. Sometimes it'll be a piano, but it'll make it to me, and I'll have to, kind of arrange everything in my head and figure out what we're going to do with it. And it's predominantly a country album, so they're all made into country, which is kind of challenging because you never know where the writer is coming from. And so they wanted it to be a country album, and sometimes it sounds like dead on 80s pop song, and you gotta kind of transform it into a country.
Add some steel guitar.
Yeah, put some fiddle or a banjo or steel guitar. So I get to do that all here in the studio, and I track it and produce it, and I'll even sing on some of them. So that's a big project. Also, we have the songs that we're producing of ours, as well as I work with a few other artists here and there. One of them being Aaron Enderlin, producing a few of those. So
awesome, wonderful. So I'm going to ask one last question, and then we'll wrap up for the day. I promise. What shows are you looking forward to most doing live this year?
Any show with our full band. So Cliff and I do a duo show, and we sound like a full band when it's just the two of us. So I have my left hand on stacked keys. I have a left hand bass guitar sound, and I've got my right on the key, the regular keyboard sound. And then we've got a drum machine, and then he's on guitar, and then with both of our vocals, and we can turn on a dime with that drum machine. And so, I really love those shows because that's really what we do. 90% of the shows we do are that format. And so we have a lot of fun weekly with those. We're in our 9th year residency at Oaklawn Casino in Hot Springs with that kind of show. But now that we've done some full band all original shows, we're just like, we cannot wait for the next one. So we have some coming up about once a month right now.
Yeah.
One that we haven't announced, but we're going to be opening for a national headliner, and it's a big festival in Arkansas. So we'll be able to announce that soon. And then
definitely looking forward to any original show, opening for any bigger artist. There's a lot of things that we've been wanting to get our hands into, and I think we're finally starting to see the momentum of it with our original music and people actually listening and liking it. And,
yeah.
So definitely, back to kind of a bucket list thing is, looking out into an audience and seeing people, a swarm of people singing to your songs that you've written, that's a definite goal.
And that's happening on a small scale right now with our smaller
audiences. You got a few out there like, oh, wait, she knows the words.
And some of our songs are catchy enough. You can kind of pick it up by the end of the song. You're singing the hey, hey, or the hooks of the song. We did put together a really fantastic band. We've got a bass player, a guitarist, and a drummer. And so we have a pretty solid, tight band right now that we've got some videos out there on our YouTube. If anybody wants to check out our full band and consider us for any opportunities, we would love that.
Okay, we'll make sure all the links are in the description below.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, thank you both for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you on. And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a fun time.
And the dogs did make a little noise. We got Booker, Gibby, Charlie Daniels is in the floor. Yeah, Charlie Daniels is in the floor. He's like, "What, Mom?" So thank you so much for having us, and we'd love to do it again. And if anybody's watching, reach out to us on social media. We love to connect with everyone.
Absolutely, and you're welcome back anytime. Just let me know, and we'll get you on the schedule.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.